So today, let's talk about one of the most powerful forces in the entire universe. And no, I'm not just talking about compound interest on your money. We are going way deeper than that. We're going to explore how this principle of compounding, well, it shapes pretty much everything in our lives, far beyond just a bank account.
All right, let's just jump right in with this idea because it's a big one. You've probably heard people talk about the magic of compound interest, right? But it's just one tiny piece of a much larger puzzle. The real wealth, the stuff that truly matters, that happens inside of us. It's in our character, it's in the habits we build day in and day out. And here's why that's true. Compounding isn't just some term from a finance textbook. It's a universal law. Seriously, it's happening all around you, it's happening inside you right this very second, whether you're paying attention to it or not. You could think of this as a core part of living a stewardship life, where you're not just managing your money, but every single aspect of who you are. So what do we actually mean when we say compounding? At its heart, it's the snowball effect. You know, you start with a tiny snowball at the top of a hill, and by the time it reaches the bottom, it's a massive boulder. It's how these small, consistent actions, and this is really important, inactions too, build on each other to create these huge results down the road. It's all about the trajectory you're on, not just one single choice.
The thing is, the results of this whole process can be genuinely shocking, and that's because our brains, they just don't naturally think this way. We tend to think in straight lines, simple addition. But compounding, that's exponential. And when you see the actual math behind it, it can totally change how you look at your daily choices.
Okay, check this out. Look at this number, 37. If you get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. No. Because of compounding, you end up almost 38 times better. That is it's the explosive power of these tiny, consistent gains. Each little improvement builds on the last one, and it just creates this incredible cascade of growth. All right, so that brings us to the bright side of this whole thing, the upward spiral. This is where we can actually use this incredible force to our advantage, using these small daily efforts to build a life of real strength, of skill, and of connection.
And this isn't just an abstract idea. It happens in every important area of your life. Think about it. Your skills compound. Every 15 minutes you practice that guitar, it makes tomorrow's practice just a little bit easier, a little bit better. Relationships compound, right? Every small act of kindness, every moment of trust, it builds a stronger bond. Your health compounds. Every good meal, every workout you choose to do, it builds a more resilient body. And really, underneath all of it, your habits, they're the engine that drives this entire process. But we have to be real here. This universal law is totally neutral. It doesn't care if what you're putting in is positive or negative. And that means we have to talk about its shadow side, the quiet, creepy cost of all those little daily neglects. Every powerful force has a shadow, and the shadow of compounding is just as powerful as the light. But man, it is so much harder to see until the damage is already done. Let's be crystal clear about this. That workout you skipped, that sharp comment you made to someone, that task you put off till tomorrow, they don't just disappear. They add up. Little neglects repeated over and over, they build on each other just as relentlessly as small efforts do, and they create a downward spiral. And here is the most dangerous part. It all happens so quietly. See, with positive growth, you get these little wins, these milestones to celebrate along the way. But decay, that's just silent erosion. It's the friendship that slowly drifts apart. It's the skill that just fades away from not being used. It's the health that subtly declines. This negative compounding, it works in the background, undermining everything without you even noticing. So, what we're left with are two very different paths, but they're both dictated by the exact same principle. Over on the left, you've got a life of strength, built brick by brick with daily effort. And on the right, a life of weakness, created by the slow, steady accumulation of daily neglect. It's the same force, just with opposite inputs leading to totally different destinations. And this really brings us to the main point of all of this. This isn't just some neat theory, it's the actual operating manual for what we could call your cumulative life. The sum total of your existence is going to be the sum of your compounded daily choices. And that power, that responsibility, that rests with you. Every single day. So this is the moment for a little reality check. Take a real, honest look at the key areas of your life, your skills, your health, your relationships. What's the current trajectory? Are your daily habits building you up, Or are they slowly, quietly eroding your foundation?
And that leads us to the final and most important question. This isn't about looking back and beating yourself up. It's about setting an intention for the future. What are you going to choose to grow? What are those small 1% improvements you're going to commit to day in and day out? Because what you choose to compound this year, that will ultimately define who you become.